Hey guys, this is Nick, and in this tutorial video, I'm going to be going over how to improve your build and test workflow. So in our previous tutorial, we went over a Hello World smart contract, and in this tutorial, we're also going to assume that you've already gone through the dev environment setup tutorial that has a Docker instance with a shared volume to your local machine. So in the last video where we did the Hello World smart contract, we used this query called build, and we passed it in a parameter that is a location of our Python smart contract file. And what it did was it compiled our Python file into a AVM file, which allowed us to import the contract. And so today we're going to iterate on that, and we're going to use this optional test parameter at the end of the build statement. And so basically it's going to be the same thing where you call build, the location to your smart contract file in Python, but you're going to add this test parameter at the end. And you're also going to have your inputs similar to what you would have for a import contract statement. And so you're going to have, what are the input types? What is the return type? Do you need storage, and do you need dynamic invoke? And additionally, at the end, you're also going to add in any parameters that you want to input into your call, similar to how you would for a test invoke statement. So here's an example of using this command to build and test our Hello World smart contract. So it's going to be build the location of our hello world.py file, and you're just going to have the word test, and then you're going to have an empty string, 0, 1, which is a Boolean, false, and false. And what this is going to do is it's going to go ahead and build the smart contract file, and it's going to invoke it at the same time. So let's take a look at a little bit more complex smart contract than our Hello World smart contract. So this is a simple smart contract that is going to take two arguments. It's an initial string and an array of arguments. It's going to assign your initial string to a result string. It's going to then iterate over every element in your arguments array, and it's going to concatenate them together prefixed with a space into our results string. And at every step in the iteration, it's going to print out the result and also return the result at the end. So let's take a look at how to build and test this in our terminal. So here I have the Neo CLI from NeoPython open, and I'm going to go ahead and write out our build and test statement. So first I'm just going to write build, the location to our smart contract file, and then we're going to put the word test, and we're going to pass in our input types, which are going to be 07 for string, 10 for array, and then 7 for string as our output type. And then we're going to have false, false, because we don't need storage and we don't need dynamic invoke. And then we're going to pass our input parameters. So we're first going to have a string, hello. And then we're going to pass an array of additional arguments, and we're just going to have one element, world. Okay, so let's go ahead and invoke this. And as you can see, we have our input arguments, which are hello, and an array with one element, world. And we have our results as expected, which is a concatenated string of hello and world. So what we can do is we can also add a few more words into our arguments here. So what? And cool. And if we invoke this, we can see that it's working properly. So we have hello, world, what, cool, all separated by spaces. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and iterate on the development of this contract. So we can go ahead and modify it by moving the concatenation of the initial string down to the bottom and just initializing the result string with an empty string, and making sure that we're concatenating a space before we put in our initial string. Okay, so now we're just going to have our result as an empty string, iterate through our list of arguments, and concatenate everyone into our results string, and at the very end we're going to concatenate our initial string. So we can go ahead and run the exact same query, and as you can see here, we now have our modified result with world, what, cool, and hello at the end instead of the beginning. And so as you can see, we've made a quick modification to our smart contract code, and we didn't have to build it and deploy it and test invoke it in different steps, we could do everything in this single step and not have to worry about going through all those extra steps. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial video. I hope you guys found this helpful and you're now able to build and test quickly and iterate through the development of your smart contract. I left a link to this blog post down in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again in my next tutorial video.